Andrew Berry and his representatives are continuing to talk. So for today, Odell will not be out there. No reaction, Tony. I would just tell you social media in general I'm not on it. I'm aware of things that are on there. But I just think in general, we talk about ignoring the noise in our building, and certainly there's a lot of things on social media that we need to ignore. We work really hard to get guys open, get them the ball, share the ball. Those are always things that we're thinking about.
There's a report that just came out a couple minutes ago that you told the team this morning that Odell is not part of the team anymore. Is that true? Do you consider him part of the team?
Yeah, I would just tell you again, today he's excused, and we'll see where this goes.
Hurt? No. Surprised? Yes. Yeah, I think there's different things that play a factor into it. I've had conversations with his dad before, man-to-man, face-to-face, and I was pretty surprised by the video and the intentions and the feelings behind it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise, but hurt? No, I'm good. I'll be all right.
Hurt? No. Surprised? Yes. Pissed off? You betcha. Oh, you betcha. You betcha there's a lot of people in Cleveland pissed off about what happened on Tuesday as Odell Beckham Jr. made his power play to get out of Cleveland. And between the dad posting the video of all the times Odell was open and Baker Mayfield didn't get it to him, and LeBron James tweeting #FreeOBJ, it was clear this was orchestrated.
Of course.
They get it. They understand it. And I wrote it yesterday, and I said it yesterday. They've either got to renew their vows or divorce. And the moment that I saw that he was excused from practice, divorce. It's just a question of working out the terms.
100%. I mean, divorce is right. What happens in that divorce? Again, I don't know. Do they try to, screw him over and just keep him on the roster like you talked about a little bit yesterday, and do, the Keyshawn Johnson, John Gruden thing that happened early on in my football career? Do they
Can't
do
do
that?
it anymore. Can't do it anymore.
I keep forgetting that. You can't do that anymore. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm wrong to have that thought. So, obviously divorce, though. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
And when Kevin Stefanski said that Andrew Berry, the GM of the team, is talking to his representatives, there's really nothing to talk about, because when you have somebody that you don't want on the team anymore, when you have somebody that for whatever reason you don't want around, you've got three options under the CBA that was put in place in 2006 after the Eagles suspended Terrell Owens 4 games without pay for conduct detrimental to the team and then told him stay home with pay. It was specifically changed to prevent the stay home with pay. The Keyshawn Johnson, Terrell Owens thing, you can't do it unless the guy's okay with it, like Deshaun Watson. I doubt that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to say, I'll take the rest of the year off with pay. Because as you said yesterday, Chris, one of the things the Browns won't want to do is release the guy and potentially see him playing for the Chiefs or the Bills or someone else in the AFC that they're going to be competing with, assuming that they still think he's good. They may not care. They may think, you want him? You want him? He's diminished physically, and he's not the guy that he once was as a receiver, and on top of it, he's a pain in the ass. Go ahead, you can have him.
Yeah.
But here are the options right now that the Browns have. 1, you could trade him. Too late for that. 2, you can suspend him for up to 4 games without pay for conduct detrimental to the team. The problem is you got to have proof. Now, you could just do it. You can just do it and basically delay all of this until December, and there'll be a hearing, there'll be an arbitration. If you lose, you just pay him the money you would have paid him anyway. Oh, well, now, if they really want to be jerks, they can do that.
Yeah.
Suspend him without pay for conduct detrimental with no basis for doing it. That's the thing. You deliberately do it with no basis for doing it. You keep him from getting ensconced with another team for up to a month. And maybe he's not going to be as ready to help as he would have been. If you really want to be jerks, you can do that. And the third option is cut him. And the one fly in that ointment is the Lions could claim him on waivers, in theory. The Giants could claim him on waivers just to keep him from getting what he wants, like Marty Schottenheimer did with the Chargers when Deion Sanders was released by Washington in 2002 so he could go join the Raiders. Deion Sanders retired when Marty Schottenheimer was a coach because he didn't want to play for him.
Right.
He was on the reserve retired list. After the trade deadline, Washington released him so he could sign with the Raiders, and Marty said, no, I'm going to claim you on waivers, and that killed that. So the Giants, I don't think the Giants would do it. They don't have the cap space to take on the contract.
Yeah.
So if he clears waivers, he goes wherever he wants.
Right.
And that's why I thought it was genius for him to do what he did when he did it, because maybe he is setting this up to be a free agent for the first time in his career.
Maybe he is. Maybe he. You're right. I mean, listen. Yesterday, I was going, why didn't he do this a week earlier and try to create the get the trade market going? Just let it be known I don't want to be here to do that. But you sent a text yesterday. Oh, maybe this was the right way to play it. And the more you sit here and think about it, yeah, it does seem the right way. It does. I can't imagine Cleveland doing the 4-game suspension thing, just because I feel like, again, I think it's something where it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. OBJ, I would think, is, not going to sit back and be quiet for those 4 weeks either. He's not. And then it's just going to add to them being asked more questions and more of a distraction to their football team. The conversation about why they can't get in a room together and do that, I just think it's gone. That time has passed. That should have happened 8 weeks ago. That should have happened before the year started. That conversation, it's beyond that. And I think, by what we see from OBJ's dad's, videos and LeBron James, yes, it came to a halt. And this was a calculated, decision, a hit job to, get out of town and become a free agent. I mean, you said it right. I just can't imagine. Yesterday you said it right, and you might have just said it again. But, I can't imagine any of these teams claiming him on waivers because of his contract situation. And most of the teams that would be able to claim him are, teams that are not that good right now. And I just can't imagine them really wanting to make the play or deal with the unknown of, is he a headache or not? We got a team that's got a lot of issues to begin with because we're not that good. Do we really want to add that? So I have a hard time believing that'll happen. And, what I do know is there's enough teams, and you know me, I know enough people around football that still think OBJ can play. They
Yep.
do. I mean, listen, I've had coaches around the league go do you know anything about Cleveland and OBJ? I don't get it. What's going on there? I look at him on film, and he can still go, and he can run by anybody, and he looks explosive, and he still runs routes. So, despite him being a pain in the butt in some people's eyes and all those other issues, there's still going to be too many teams that are going to go, damn, he can help our football team. And we know how coaches think. Well, we got a different environment here. I can make him fit the team. It'll be good. I can do that. We know that's how head coaches think anyways. So I would just be shocked if he got claimed on waivers, one, and then I would think there's a pretty robust market for him as a free agent once that does happen.
Just like Mike Tomlin said earlier in the week, we prefer volunteers to hostages, and I think there's a different mindset to an OBJ who gets to choose where he goes versus a guy who is told, here's where you're coming, because it never did sit well with him.
No.
That he got dumped by the Giants onto the Browns and didn't even know the Browns were a possibility. We're just going to treat you like a piece of property, like we're selling a car.
Yeah.
And, hey, you know what? We've sold you to the Browns. Whether you want to live in Cleveland or not, whether you want to play for the Browns or not, that's where you're going to go. I think this time around he wants to pick his team. So I agree with you there. And for me, the moment where it became clear that he's not going to be part of the team anymore, and I doubt that they're going to play this game of suspend him for conduct detrimental just to delay his arrival with a new team. When Kevin Stefanski is asked yesterday, there's a report that just came out that you told the players he's no longer part of the team.
That's
his response is,
yeah,
well, he's excused for today. If you do anything other than the Mike Tomlin, mic drop and walk off there,
that was
confirmed it.
You're right.
And somebody told me last night that's exactly what he did. He told the players yesterday, OBJ is no longer part of the team.
I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to say that off that clip too. We got going down another part of the conversation, but you're right. That was the tell in itself. He could have simply just answered, "Hey, no, we told him to go home today. He's still a part of this team. We're still looking for him to contribute." He could have made an answer like that to where we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, but he didn't. He left the door open and said they're talking and the representatives are talking and all that. Which was basically
there's nothing to talk about. There is nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Unless they're saying, hey, you know what? In theory we could put your guy on unpaid leave for conduct detrimental for 4 weeks, and then he doesn't get to go anywhere. How about he reduces his salary? I don't. There's nothing to discuss at this point. They are in checkmate. The Browns are in checkmate here, and by not bringing it to a head until Tuesday, by having no opportunity to trade him, their only choice is to cut him. And now that the coach has said to the players he's no longer part of the team, they just need to release him.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.